So I'm just reminiscing about the oldest buck that I've killed. Happened in 2020. I actually seen this buck first off about 2015. He wasn't a big buck. What stood out to me was he had a very weak right side, and his left side was, looked good, had potential. Throughout the years on that farm that I was hunting, I seen that buck several occasions, got tons of pictures of him. Never really thought about saving many pictures until the last probably year or two before I killed him. And I started calling him Lefty because his left side was massive, just nice, good left side, but his right side was always very weak. Once it got to where I knew he's at least 5 years old, it was 2020. I had pictures of him that I could identify him since 2015. He was the only mature buck that I had on camera that year on that farm. And the only mature buck that I had that I was hunting altogether that hadn't just vanished and disappeared. I did start getting pictures of this buck crossing a creek, and it was getting to where it was just right before dark. He was crossing the creek, and then he was apparently, coming around the ridge and crossing over the top, and I was getting a picture of him in a field where I had a food plot that was like 30-40 minutes after it got dark. So I assumed he was bedded somewhere on the other ridge and dropping down that bottom and making that circle around, and my assumptions was correct that night. And I'm gonna take you back and just show you this this video. Is one of the best ones that I had from the beginning when I first started videoing myself, of me actually getting a buck down on camera. So let's go back down memory lane and watch this.
Oh my God. The buck, #1 hit lister. I wouldn't think I was gonna see anything tonight. I thought about just packing it up. I wasn't seeing nothing. He's down, not even 20 yards from my stand. Holy smokes. And I sprayed some dominant buckler. That's the way I walked in, was right there. I walked down the hill and got in my stand. I wasn't thinking I was gonna see anything tonight. And the big dominant buck that I was after just came in, and he's down 15 yards from my stand. Yes, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Oh, thank you, Lord.
My taxidermist, Wildlife Craze Taxidermy, he actually, when I took the buck to him, he aged the teeth. And looking at the teeth, he said that the age of this buck had to be between 7 and 7.5 years old. So it was a lot older than what I had thought. and that was pretty cool that, you know, I was able to get a buck of that age caliber on the ground. I got Lefty tonight, and to be honest with you, didn't think I was going to get it done tonight, and he came in just before dark. He's at least a 5-year-old deer, maybe 6. He's fat, big neck, big Roman nose. He's got some really good tine length here. Some pretty good mass. He's the biggest buck that I had here on camera. The oldest buck too. But I had a game plan tonight to hunt this holler in front of me because he kept showing up here. And when he would show up here, it was at, you know, 9 o'clock at night, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I just couldn't pinpoint where he was coming from, and I thought maybe he's in that holler. So I haven't hunted that holler in a while, and I get in there before dark. I looked to my right, and he was coming down the hill, and Lefty, I knew right off. I said, that's Lefty. And I turned the camera on, and I grabbed my bow, was managed to stand up, draw back, and get a perfect shot, double lunged him, and he whipped around. He ran probably a total of 40 yards, but he did a circle, crashed about 15-20 yards from my stand, and it was wonderful.